Hi, friends. Host Eric here. I was talking to fans people, and we are going to do another compare and contrast, show and tell, just juxtaposition Friday. Divide and conquer between the INFJ and the ISTP. Natural enemies, they say. You put two in a room together, and they'll be at each other's throats within seconds. Anyhow, let's distinguish between these two similarly adorned cognitive function wise types. ISTP goes TI, then it goes SE, then NI, then FE. INFJ goes NIFE, TI, SE.
SE, SE.
Okay, that's my bad SI. I have to reconstruct it every time in my head. So, same functions, different order. They display similarly, slightly, in that they're both introverts. So, to an extrovert, that means they're the people who are supposed to be paying attention to me. I joke, I jest. Sort of.
It's true though.
Sort of.
It's true. Yeah.
uh,
You're the one supposed to be talking and we listen.
well, so they're both quiet from my perspective, but they're quiet in different ways. In the same way that Patrick is very different than Lightbulb. Patrick, you have FE, but instead of in the second slot, it's in the fourth slot. Talk to me about how much you value the how you perceive your own usage of FE, and how much you value it, and when it comes into conflict, what happens?
Well, first of all, it's so bad. Actually, by the way, I think there's like some echoing. Maybe it might be you.
It's me. God damn it.
I mean, I could just when I start talking, you could like mute and then I'll be like I'm done and then
All right, go ahead.
all right. I would say that my FE is like noticeably bad. In that like I feel really awkward with it. Like for example, um I don't really know how to interact or like initiate social interaction with people or like how to continue it or how to like bridge the gap between people socially. I just expect someone else to do that for me and then like I feel happy because I'm like, oh, thank God someone else is taking care of this for me, like an ENFJ or an INFJ or something like that. And then I can just open up and be myself and not have to deal with all this like emotional atmosphere stuff. I'm just like in the emotional atmosphere that they have created. And so I really appreciate that because otherwise I'm just sort of really reserved and I'm probably using my role function, my role FI function, which really just sucks. And I just default to like a really polite demeanor that I really just don't want to be.
Hmm. So,
Yeah, like they show ISTPs, they tend to show a lot of restraint.
Yeah.
okay.
Making sure not to offend anyone because otherwise, because if we don't know what's going to offend someone, we just go by a set of like rules, like TI rules that we like default to, you know?
And in that regard, one of the ways in which I think the INTP uses TE, even though it's their ignoring function, the ISTP as well, and they both display the same trait of being successful in terms of likability, and their methodology is always erring on the side of caution. Don't take risks in FE grounds, and it makes them quiet. And well, like Suzanne, she mutes their mic every time she coughs.
I do that too. I mean, I try to. Sometimes I forget, but I'm always like thinking like, oh, I don't want to do anything that might hurt, like that might like get people annoyed at me. I'm like extra careful.
Whereas I would be very likely to want to remember to do that, but fail to remember to do that, and not really care that much.
Yeah, it's a pressure point for us. I don't think for all types they give a shit. We give a shit if we're fucking like breaking the rules and offending people by like being disrespectful or like not courteous or something. Unless we feel comfortable with our own selves or whatever, then we just do whatever the fuck we want. And it's just like if someone gets mad, we can just be like, whatever.
I
Like cool.
I suspect the fourth slot FE involves not being very good at weighing FE experiences. Like okay, I know that the person's mad at me, but as a fourth slot FE person, I probably have a weak understanding of what that means. Like, okay, I know they're mad at me, but does that mean they hate me now? Does that mean I'm persona non grata? Does it mean they're gonna get over it in a little while? You know, what does it mean? It would be, I would imagine, a central concern of ISTP and INTP as well with the fourth slot FE. Is that correct in my interpretation of that?
I'm not sure if that's directly FE, but that's something I totally relate to. It's like, um, I don't know how other people's feelings towards me like change, I guess. Like I sort of just try to hope that everyone likes me, and if someone starts to not, I'm like, well, does that mean they don't like me permanently, or what? Like I don't really know.
Let's see. Okay, let's turn now to the INFJ in their tool function or second slot creative function FE, where they are taking from their NI metaphysical epistemology, that is to say, understanding inherently the meaning of things, whether they're true or good or beautiful or things like that, and what things mean in a fundamental, like, yeah, it means all this. But they use that with the tool function of FE. So what I imagine it being is you're sort of evaluating the social landscape and understanding not just how people perceive you, but how people perceive each other and how their perceptions of each other impact their relationships with even third parties, perhaps. I'm not sure what it would be like to have second slot FE. Can you clarify for me?
Yeah, it's it's dependent on like also SE, like usually sitting still, listening. Um, we have to conquer the environment first, like not with words or not with and not like not with communicating with other people, just the individual in the environment has to just listen to everything and then interact with it by using FE. So like then we'll use NI to like figure out, well, who do we talk, like if it's a new environment, who should we talk to first? Like what are we getting out of this? And we want to be perceived as intelligent as well because third slot TI. So we don't want to make FE mistakes either.
Son, I'd like you to chime in too if you feel like it. It's up to you. But
Yeah.
what I wanted some clarification on specifically is, so I know that you're probably, as a second slot FE user, aware of certain social dynamics that I might be oblivious to, and that
Yes.
some of those circumstances, you may even feel like, okay, well, there's no point in trying to do that thing because he's not going to understand it on that FE level anyway, or something like that. Do you encounter that very often?
He does.
Oh, he's typing. Okay. I'll do my best. Well, I know we kind of suck in these conversations because it takes us sometimes a long time to answer it. So what was the question again?
It talks about man, like, okay,
Okay, no, wait, I remember now what I was going to say. So like you'll be oblivious to certain FE things happening, whereas I won't be oblivious to it. But it's a kind of an internal tug of war. It's like, do I give this information or do I withhold this information about the dynamic I see between X person and Y person? Because I don't want to. You want everyone to get along, and you want everyone to have like a progression or enjoy themselves or learn something new about themselves. And it can be a struggle sometimes to figure out what information to share.
Right. Well, I was also thinking I was actually positioning it more as when taking actions and interpreting how they're going to impact on an FE field, then, like, for example, when I'm talking about TI stuff, if I am, there are certain people I talk to that I'm very careful about how I'm phrasing stuff, and it's not usually here at all. I'm pretty free with my fancy talk here, but when I
No,
encounter
I
in the work,
disagree. You're not. I disagree.
FE in action right there.
Yeah, it's like that's what you want to believe, but that's not actually what I see happening.
Do you
okay,
see a lot of restraint in host Eric?
Sometimes, yeah, I see it more in INTP and ISTP, but it's like I don't know if that's something you're oblivious to, Eric, or it's something you don't want to acknowledge.
it's probably the latter. The thing is, I have to position things with TI to be very aware of how much the other person can handle. If I want to actually communicate, if I don't want to just batter somebody about the head with words, sometimes I feel like doing that, you know. But if I actually want to communicate, then I have to be aware of what's actually going to get through to people. Like when I'm teaching the kids at school, I obviously have to put things 50 different ways. I have to come up with shitloads of analogies all the time because it's the best way to get them to understand complex relationship things. Anyway, I'm assuming there's something equivalent with FE that you go, okay, there's I have to be more obvious in the situation than I would like to be. I never experienced that. I never go like, oh, I'm being too obvious in my FE. I might say I'm slathering on it too thick, but I won't say to myself like, oh, I need to be a little bit more obvious because they're not getting it. I won't adjust like that. Do you have those kind of experiences?
Be more FE. I would say that your FE can be harder to detect when it's not authentic.
Your FE is harder to detect when it's not authentic.
Oh, that's really poorly said.
Well, I kind of see what
Your fake FE is harder to see, I think, in an ENTP. I think it's easier to see in an INFJ or an ENFJ.
Because we're not really sure if it's fake or not.
Yeah, and neither is the other party.
Well, I mean, we can do that. That we're good at. That's a kind of weaponized FE we're pretty good at.
I think this is not necessarily ISTP versus INFJ at this point. So I'll add that for ENFJs, I'm fine with it. I mean, for ENFJs, they're just like walking embodiments of authentic extrovert feeling expression. It's like they demand it from other people. I feel great demanding pressure from ENFJs for me to be emotionally authentic because I just feel like they can pick up on when I'm not.
I don't find them. I don't personally find them authentic seeming. ENFJs in general.
ENFJs?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, ENFJs, I don't, their FE is not used the same way INFJ uses it.
INFJs, I think, are accommodating with their FE, whereas ENFJs, I think, just walk in and set the FE tone of the environment, whether it's good or not.
Well, if we want to redirect this back to ISTP and INFJ,
Let's take it back.
Well, let's do so. This person in the comments says, talk about the passive aggression and reserved NIFE bitterness unleashed in INFJs. Reserved as in held in reserve.
I will say I think that's a stereotype right off the bat. Like I think a lot of types can be passive aggressive, but I guess INFJs do it differently. I don't know.
I disagree.
Passive, reserved bitterness unleashed.
I mean, any Enneagram nines in general do that. Like,
I mean, I can explain what you're talking about there, son, in simple terms. You're saying, as an INFJ, I was born into a home where my parents were childlike in certain fashion, and they were best dealt with through extroverted feelings. And the nature of my brain is such that I knew what they wanted, what made them happy, what didn't make them happy. And pretty soon I realized that I could move people around, not based on substance if I wanted to, but instead based purely on managing, making them feel good. And I learned a set of reassuring nonverbal cues to encourage people to feel comfortable. I developed a set of rhetorical angles that allowed me to get information and give little information. And I move people around. I've moved people around my whole life. And I've been attaining what I thought were my desired goals, which were FE driven things. And then I realized, but I actually want, really, what I want is for things to be consistent. For my FE shit, my perception management to be to have the nobility of introverted thinking in some fashion. Just as I want my introverted thinking to ultimately be in service of everybody liking me. And I could give a damn about whether it's actually consistent. You're the opposite, INFJs, right? So what happens? Well, you come out of a certain period of your life having managed successfully the perceptions of others, having everybody like you, everybody thinks you're smart, everybody thinks you're wise, everybody thinks you're a special snowflake, and you go, okay, I finished doing that thing. Now I've got everybody thinking what I want to think. What do I actually think? And the problem there is you go, well, you've got your NI understandings of things, but what you don't have is a clear understanding of your own identity and nature. It's not framed through the responses and feelings of others. You don't feel as though you can have honest relationships with people sometimes because all you have to do is say something nice and they behave as you expect them to. It's one of the reasons INFJs like ENTPs. We're so not paying attention to you. um, you know, we're happy. We're happy when we do like it when you give us praise a lot because you guys are smart with it, right? You're holding them with you talk about how withheld and reserve, but the thing is, you don't like the fact that everybody's movable. You want somebody you want the realness of being held to account purely on your own merits and of passing those tests, as you surely will increasingly as you get older because you get better and better and better at the TI, just like I get better at the FE. Although right now I feel like I'm getting worse at it lately. I've been kind of clumsy with it. I don't know. So, that's my take on INFJ angst. Your version of my existential terror is, oh fuck, I've been doing all the fucking, I've been making sure the facade looks exactly proper, and I haven't actually attended to the building. I should actually make the building now, maybe. The facade looks great. I gotta fucking deal with the building. That's the issue. And then you can't really trust anybody because you can move them all. So you don't feel like they're reliable.
I don't know that I totally agree with what you just said.
Okay.
Something about there's, what did you say? It was something about people can't be movable, and that bothers an INFJ.
I think INFJ sighs at the reality that they can move people so much because it makes it almost invalidates their choice, the choice of the other to spend time with you.
Okay.
I mean, I could be totally wrong about it. It's just me speculating, you know, my random thoughts about shit. Who cares? I don't know.
I'm not sure at this point.
I think an ENFJ is who is concerned about, or would be more concerned about authenticity and like, because they're the ones that can move people, I think, more than an INFJ. If an INFJ can move somebody, that there's more. It's because we think that maybe there's something there that we can
Well, okay, you
trust.
are introverts, so you don't move people as a matter of course. I mean, you do, but you don't like every time you meet somebody new, you just sort of like, hey, I'm going to try to get you to do this, or I'm going to try to get you to do that, or I'm going to try to get you to believe this about me. You don't automatically do it as a default because you're introverts, but you do it much more effectively as a consequence. I think because
Well,
you
I
do
mean, the
Well,
less
it
and it
would be
does
more
more.
like, who can I move? Who can I move to not bother me?
yeah, I mean, the way I think of it is you have to kind of think of how INFJs use extra feeling in the form of what does their dual type need. And so for the INFJ, their dual type is the ESTP. So what does an ESTP need? Generally, someone who just sort of accommodates their just forcefulness sometimes, or just their persona, their big personality sometimes. Whereas ENFJs are doing it differently. They're setting the extra feeling because I need them to set it. You know.
Okay, see, I see the ESTP INFJ relationship as being ESTP says, we've made 10 decisions and thought about two of them, and let's do them all now. And INFJ goes, okay, actually, NI, honey, 7 of those ideas are bad ideas. Okay, Donald? 3 of them are good ideas. Do the good ones, don't do the bad ones. Remember, we have to check to see if they're good ideas. The time for empty talk is over. Let's take action. No, you have to think about if it's a good idea, remember? Oh, okay, all right, fine. That's what ESTP needs from INFJ. What INFJ needs is get off your lazy ass, let's go hang gliding. Or buy a fancy car or whatever
I
INFJ's
agree
hidden agenda
wholeheartedly
is.
with that.
Well, yeah, but like I see, like an INFJ would probably go to an ISTP for that because they start with introverted thinking first, and it's a little easier on us.
What do you mean by that? Like, why does TI don't?
Extrovert, well, because that's what we seek. TI, we want to appear smart, and
I mean,
I
you
don't
see
know.
TI
TI
with
is like
yes.
calming. TI is calming to me.
TI is motivational, I think, for you guys, whereas you seek SE. You seek somebody else to provide you the SE. For TI, you could do it yourself. You just feel as though it's your motivational thing. Like that's really where you're satisfied is when you got all the TI shit in line. Then you feel like you got a handle on shit. For me, I feel like I handle all shit if everybody likes me. I don't care. I don't really care about the TI stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Extra.
like, an ISTP is not like as physically moving as an ESTP. They're not busybodies. It's
Well,
like when they do SE stuff, it's kind of like an INTP. It's like
Deliberate.
yes,
light bulb.
And you prefer that, you're saying? You prefer that over ESTP's use of SE, which is just incredibly erratic.
yeah.
Okay.
Light bulb. I'm gonna go ahead and make a recommendation for both these types, ISTP,
Oh my god.
INFJ. No busybodies. Okay. You should not have a busybody in your relationship. So you're
No, I
contraindicated.
disagree with that.
No, you're contraindicated with busybodies. Now, what that means though is literally they busy your body too much. They like make you go do too much shit, right? You don't want those kind of busybodies because why? Fundamentally, you're introverts. You like to sit at home and I don't know, be here or sit down on the couch and go, let me think in silence for a while. That sounds fun.
Well, I didn't think we were talking solely about like relationships.
We weren't. We weren't. I'm just segueing into my my point about busybodies, which was segueing off of your thing saying that they were busybodies. You didn't like busybodies. I'm agreeing. Nobody wants busybodies because you know what that means? That means too much SE. You don't want too much SE in the mix because SE is the devil. Sorry, ISTP, you've got the devil function in your tool slot.
No, because I use it correctly. I use it deliberately, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Okay, then. All right.
ISF and ISTP are more fun to an INFJ than
I
an
don't know.
ESFP and an ESTP.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess for you they're more fun, but well, actually, yeah, I can see that.
All right, let's schedule a picnic with Light Bulb and Basement Overlord, and we'll observe it, and we'll see if you think that
You're not going to hear anything. We're just going to sit in silence, look at each other, and know what jokes are being made, and then we're going to laugh.
you'll know, and he'll figure them out, right? So it's like you
No,
know the
I don't
punchline,
know.
but
Yeah,
he's
no.
got to figure it
We'll
out.
just look at each other, and then I'll just start laughing randomly.
Okay, well, that sounds like a good pairing. Then I've got to go to the cigarette store because I'm out of cigarettes, and that's an emergency situation.
All
And
right, you need
so,
to title this video ISTPs, INFJs, and their relationship with ENTPs.
is that what it was about? I talked about ISPs a lot at the beginning. I mean, I
Yeah.
did. I got to segue off to things that are interesting. You can't just ignore shit that's interesting. Okay, don't forget to put in cheese. Thanks for talking to people. Blah blah blah.